All right, looks like we're live. Good deal. Let's wait a few minutes. We're going to get some Tylenol before we start yakking away. Okay, I hope that's just, like a potty break because it wasn't caused by Will It Grows live. It was just because they need to go to the restroom. Okay, let's not go there. Homestead Aquarius, good evening to you. South Florida sunshine, good evening. Belly Acres. Jillian Carey, good evening to you. Mood music. I don't hear no music. He just blew that all out of proportion. I mean, he's from the Northeast. I have to look the other way with John. I mean, Bowie. Just tried to correct him on the spelling, and he just blew it all out of proportion. Everybody's asleep. All the cats are asleep except for two, and they want to play, and they pick the loudest thing in the house to play with. Yeah, I kind of figured that. Just like Florida. Am I moving things around? Yeah, kind of. Yeah. This light makes me look like death warmed over. I have the grow light off. They got their full day of sun today. Otherwise, if I turn that light on now, see, that's why 11 o'clock works for me. Even 10 would work for me. Now, if I turn this light on, now it just gives an unearthly glow behind me. Bob, you can't find your pants. Too many ales, or just can't find them? They're on your head. No, I don't know. South Florida sunshine. I mean, TN does keep late hours. Super Ken, the Kentucky fam. What are you doing, man? It's been a long time. It's always good to see people from Kentucky here. No killing the Bob. Yeah. I hope you stayed, Super Can. I hope you stayed in out of the cold and the rain today. It was cold and rainy here in Kentucky. It's just a good day to just chill out at home or not really do much of anything and stay out of the mud and the muck out there. Howdy from the prairie, corn-fed life. Good evening to you. The kittens have knocked over the broom, so that's what they're playing with. If you hear that racket in the background, that's what it is. Belly Acres, you didn't get any rain today? We'll send you some. I think we probably got enough. I mean, I'm happy to see it. That means I don't have to truck the water from here up to the top of the hill where the garden is. Now the container garden is all right here on the other side of this wall outside, and some in here. That's not such a big deal, but going up and down that hill several times, my spigot is on the front of the house, the most awkward place. So probably 200 or 300 feet of hose would work. We just haven't got there. Always gardening and prepping. Good evening to you. Thought we'd touch a little bit on some of the news and stuff and how it relates to the topic tonight. And of course, we're gonna probably go off topic a few times, and that's fine. They keep talking about this, and I see this all over YouTube and Rumble and Odyssey and in the news and everything. And they talk about communication blackout and all this kind of stuff. And the internet's going to go out. And Kentucky Goblin, hello neighbor. That's all good and well, but there's just and we were talking about this today. Me and Kentucky Goblin covered this today, that people were just, it's all right to get the news out there, but when you start seeing 12 other channels with the same reports, it's a little redundant. Gardner Josh, what's going on, bud? Tango the Cat, good evening to you. Welcome. But if it happens, it happens. But it's something we might want to be prepared for. And you can't always rely on your cell phone to be there. Tower could go out. What if the power goes out? What if the tower is not working? You always have another backup. You can always have radios as a backup. At least you don't have to dial a number. You don't have to type out a text. Just push that little button. Now, you and your family have radios. Now, I wouldn't suggest these unless you want to keep it really, really local. The problem with these are nice, and you buy these at, Walmart, whatnot. These are FRS radios. They share the frequencies with GMRS, but the problem with these things, this right here, and I'll tell you why. GMRS and FRS share the same frequencies. Now, in order for them to make these radios as compact as they can, this antenna right here is basically to be a full-length antenna. This would be a better representation. This is more of the length that GMRS, FRS operates on right here in the UHF. Okay, that's a full wave right there, even though it's a rubber ducky. Okay, that's more resonant than this little thing. What they've done on these is they shrunk that antenna down to a coil. Okay, basically it looks like a spring. That limits your distance that you can talk. That's why a lot of these radios disappoint people. Don't get me wrong, I like Midland. I've got a lot of Midland stuff here. But the problem is that right there, that antenna is what limits your communications. FRS is allowed 0.5 watt to 2 watts. GMRS is allowed, 0.5 watt to 50 watts. Of course, that takes a license. A license is $35. It covers the whole family for 10 years. In a real SHTF, you're probably not going to be worried about a license. You can use whatever it takes to, get your message out and ask for help. These radios here, these are the same thing as this. They're marketed as FRS. But you'll notice that the antenna is more closer to the full length antenna on this Baofeng. These are incredible. These are GXT 1000s by Midland. FRS, GMRS. They have incredible range. We proved this the other day. My neighbor was up the road about a mile. I heard him on the base station. I answered him. And then I went outside with this radio and answered him out there as well. That's handheld to handheld at a mile. It's pretty impressive. These radios here blow my mind. They're only $80. They come with a charger. You can also charge them basically on a cell phone charger, provided it's an Android cell phone charger. These are pretty impressive for what they are. They're a little bulky, but then again, so is this. The Baofeng's pretty bulky too. But you're looking at, this is 5 watts. This is 2. This has high, low, medium power. So low power is like 0.5 watt. Medium power is, I think, 1 watt or 2 watts, something like that. Then full power. I would have to look that up real quick to be sure, but they're pretty impressive. I made the trip across to Kentucky Goblin on medium power first, and then I bumped it up to full power and was able to make, a clear contact with him back and forth. Pretty impressive. Midland, if you're listening, I know I don't have a lot of subscribers, but if you're listening, kind of, I'll take a sponsor. But GMRS is growing. It's exploded. But there are other bands that you can use, other options out there. I have a Midland MXT 115 15-watt GMRS. It's hooked up to a base antenna. I'm on a laptop, so it's going to be hard to show you the whole radio, but I can show you at least. Here's the microphone. Got your channel up and down buttons here. These radios are pretty impressive too. 15 watts on an antenna that has very little gain. So these radios, and I do have a license for the GMRS, and WRQC 947 is my call sign. I know people are freaking out. They're like, oh my God, he gave that out. You're right. You can look it up and it'll show everything. That's the price you pay when you get a license. Ham radio operators have the same deal. You just, you gave up some of your privacy when you got that license. Anything that you get through the feds, you kind of give up something, don't you? These are impressive. That I've talked on repeaters. Repeaters are a more powerful base station on a tall tower. They pick up their signal and rebroadcast it at a higher power simultaneously. So that repeater could be on a hill 15, 20, 30 miles away. You hit it with your little radio, it repeats your signal to a guy on the other side of a hill. And you guys have a conversation back and forth through that repeater. Now, you can put your own up if you wanted to. Or you can ask somebody permission. You have to ask for permission to use someone's repeater. Don't just get on there and go, blah, 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 and then have somebody mad at you. It's common courtesy, and I think the FCC kind of tells you, hey, ask for permission to use that repeater. There's CB radio. You remember it? Breaker 19. CB radio here recently got an upgrade where they can use FM, which offers a little bit more privacy. Something I didn't know until just the other day, when you talk on FM on a CB, people on AM can't understand anything you're saying. It's just a dead carrier sound is all it is. It's pretty discreet. Now, if that other person has FM on their CB, which not a lot of people do, not a lot of people are embracing it just yet. They can turn it on, flip over to FM and hear everything you're saying. Again, it's not catching on as fast as they thought it would. But FM is another way, another means of communicating on CB radio now, and that's a nice option to have. It's simple to use. It's clean and clear. There's no static. Kentucky Goblin and I just recently ordered a radio from Radioddity through Amazon. The radio is a Radioddity CB Pro 27. It has AM and FM. It's really compact, small radio. Maybe as big as a pack and a half of cigarettes, and uses very little power. So if you're on battery power or solar power, that radio won't even drain it, depending on how much time you spend yakking on that radio. That's one way to communicate with people over great distances and not have to have a license, because CB is still license free. Kind of wish it did have to have a license, because when they dropped that, it just turned it into the Wild West. Yeah. I could see you, Bob, down there tinkering in the basement, throwing parts together, making your radio. Hey, maybe you could talk to the right people with Boeing. You could get, an old Boeing radio and just, modify it. All right, Billy Akers, have a good night. Thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate you. Yeah, Tango the cat. I'm covered up in cats right now. 3 of my females decided to have litters at the same time. So I am cat poor right now. Other options on radio is, of course, there's MURS, which not a lot of people are embracing it. And I think the problem is that a lot of people are pushing GMRS on YouTube and Rumble and whatnot. And that's great. But when they try MURS radios, which is in the VHF band, they don't go out. They do a couple range tests while they're, and they're videotaping it and throw it up on YouTube so they have some content. But VHF can be viable if you know how to use it. If you're just going to rely on the antenna that come with the walkie-talkie, you're not going to get very far. You might get a mile or two with that radio. But it's not the radio's fault. It's the antenna. So if you put a higher gain antenna on that, because you can buy longer whips to put on your radio. So we're talking going from here to, that much. VHF is quite a bit longer wavelength than UHF. You need something that's got some gain. And if you bought one of the Nagoya whips and it still doesn't do what you expect it to do, I would try a mobile antenna on your vehicle and a base station at the house. So you can actually buy, I think Luxon has one now. It's a GMR, a MURS radio. It's 2 watts out. That's as much power as you're allowed on that MURS band. If you plug that into a power supply or a car battery and put it on a high gain antenna, that radio is going to come to life. It's going to have some coverage. Yeah. Yeah, Tango, I think you're referring to single sideband. That's another option. Of course, I mean, it depends on what person's budget is. If you get into single sideband on CB or even ham, you're gonna pay quite a bit. Now CB is still pretty inexpensive as far as that goes. It's getting to the point now that you can buy AM, FM single sideband on a CB. President, which is an offshoot of Uniden, is slowly but surely putting some radios out there to cover all those frequencies, all those modes in the CB band. And if you're put off by the jerks in your community or in your state that just want to make CB miserable for you and everyone else on there, don't worry about it, because they're not going to have all that power to run. They're not going to be able to run 1,500 watts to stomp on people. If we're in an emergency situation, they're going to be limited to a little mobile radio and a car battery, if they're even prepared. Chances are they won't be prepared, and they'll be sitting out there in their truck or their car talking on a CB, trying not to run their battery down. But they're not going to be in there stomping on people with their high power CB in a shit hit the fan kind of situation. So that is a plus. Yeah, make CBs fun again. Yeah. And that's what Kentucky Goblin and myself are trying to do. We're not into it to stomp on people and be the loudest kid on the block. We just want to get on our radios and have fun with them. And in a emergency situation, it might be the only way we can communicate. Any means of communication is better than none. But you're like I said, you may not be able to use your cellular phone. Because if there's a power outage or whatnot, chances are there's not going to be any cell service. And it's best to go back old school to the two-way radio. I'm not going to touch too much on ham radio because I'm not a ham operator. I'm not against it, but I'm just not ready to take that test. But a ham radio is a viable option. But, you know, as I said, in a true grid down, shit hit the fan kind of situation, a license isn't going to mean anything. And I'm going to use, you know, it's funny. When we're not in a bad situation, we have to have a license to operate on certain bands. When it's, you know, total chaos out there and life and property is in danger, it's okay to pick up a radio that needs a license and say, hey, I need help. Come out here and get me. It happened during Katrina. So it's always good to have some kind of communication and be a little bit organized. If you have a small group or your family or whatever, take the radios out, learn how to use them, get everybody well versed in how that radio operates. Okay, and set a frequency and stick to it and talk on it, but don't overdo it. Don't sit there and gab like you would, like you're on YouTube or you're on the CB. Get on there, say what needs to be said, get off, because one thing you're going to want to save is a little battery. You want to save that battery life, because you don't know when you're going to be able to charge it unless you have a battery bank or you have one of these solar chargers or whatever, a way to charge your phone or your radio or whatever, but still I would conserve battery. Excuse me. I would conserve the battery like your life depended on it, because it probably will. You need a vocab book for radios. Nah. Any questions you have, you can just ask me and I'll try to make it as simple as possible, because radios are not that complicated unless you're a technician. How many watts does the Baofeng put out? Is that what your question was, Tango? This radio puts out 5 watts on high and 1 watt on low. This is GMRS. This is the Baofeng UV9G. Oh, that's backwards, isn't it? Anyway, that's a Baofeng UV9G. This was made specifically for GMRS. You can also scan on it. So the first line at the top says GMRS. That's your transmit and receive frequencies. Down here at the bottom is set for scanning. Now I can push a button on this radio and it'll scan through whatever I programmed in this radio on the lower section there, the lower line. It's slow. It's not going to be fast like a Bearcat scanner. It's going to be slow, but it's still a good scanner. It gives you an idea of what's going on around you if you know what frequencies to put in. Law enforcement, not so much, because now they're digital, P25 digital, and that little Baofeng's not going to be able to decode their digital communications. So, but a lot of EMS, fire departments, trains, planes are, still open. They're still analog, and you can still listen to those. And of course, you can, since this is based on the UV5R, which was a UHF VHF radio, dual band radio, since this is modeled after that, all they did was rebranded the radio. I have a matter of fact, I have an old one sitting here. It's collecting dust. Sometimes I use it. This is UV5R. This is the original radio that caused all the stink with the FCC. This is actually a ham operator's radio. Dual band, VHF, UHF, meant for ham radio operators to use, but it doesn't mean you can't use it to listen. So whatever they say, don't let them fool you. You can use this radio to listen in peacetime, but hey, crap hits the fan and that's all you've got, this little $20 radio, get on there, ask for help. But I'd be really careful about who you ask help to from. You have to be careful about that. Tango, I wouldn't worry so much about the SWR with a rubber duck antenna, because that antenna is not efficient anyway. It's efficient enough to get the job done, but it's not going to be as efficient as a mobile antenna or a full-length base antenna. If I can get StreamYard to work for me, I'll show you what I have for a base antenna. We'll do share screen here. Alrighty. Okay, so hopefully this doesn't let me down. Well, okay. So go to window, choose that one, and we'll share it. Okay, I can't see chat as long as this is up. So if you ask any questions or whatever, I'll answer them as soon as I take the photos down. But this is my GMRS base antenna. It's roughly 20 feet in the air. And the little section that you see at the top there, that's the clamps that hold it up on the pole. And you see this doesn't look like a very big antenna, but believe me, it's the wavelength for GMRS. Its standing wave ratio is 1:1. Again, it's about 22 feet in the air and really effective. Here's a CB I used to have, Cobra 2000. I should have never sent that back. I could have sent that to somebody who had it fixed. That was shipped to me. It was in perfect condition when it was shipped. And when it got to my house, it was almost falling out of the FedEx truck. And something was wrong with it. We sent it back, got our money back. But kind of wished I held on to it. And again, there's the GXT 1000s. That's what I was just talking about a little while ago. They're around about $80 for those. MURS radio, which if you notice, is a whole lot like this GMRS radio I have, made by BTEC. BTEC is actually Baofeng, but it's an American company that is, they get their stuff from China over there, from Baofeng, and then they put the BTEC label on there and sell it here from America, so you don't have to go through the whole customs thing and wait 3 weeks for your radio to get to you. This is what I have as the base station. This is the GMRS radio from Midland. It's the MXT 115. It's a 15-watt mobile radio. There's noise canceling microphone, up and down channel selector on the mic. USB-C, which mine is an older model. Mine has the regular USB plug on it. And I do charge my phone on it. It's just as fast as the charger that came with the phone. This is Radiodity CB Pro 27. This is what Kentucky Goblin and I have ordered, and he's already gotten his, lucky duck. And mine comes Wednesday. So not only will we have GMRS to talk about, we'll have these as well. That's an AM FM CB. Very compact, same size as my my MXT 115. And of course, I was going to use all these pictures for a presentation at the beginning of the live, but it just didn't work out. I was, getting frustrated with it. It couldn't get the program to work for me, so I just said the heck with it. So that's what we have. That's yeah, they can, but the radio had been gone through already, according to the seller. But somebody, well, FedEx, not somebody, but FedEx. I was living in Hazard, Kentucky at the time, and the FedEx was driving a van, not one of those big trucks they've got, a van. It said FedEx on the side, and it had the double doors that open like this, And all the crap, he must have been going around the curves at 100 miles an hour or something, because all the crap was pushed to one side right there on them double doors. And when he got my package out, he was digging it out from a bunch of stuff that was leaning against the door. So when he opened it, he was like trying to shove stuff back. So my guess is that radio got banged around, even though it was packed well. Got banged around, and when I turned it on at the house, it just sat there, went pop, 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 and I said, okay. Just paid $600 something for this damn thing, and it's messed up. At the time, now I could have taken it to a friend. Well, he's not my friend, but a guy I know about up in Louisville, at Nomad Electronics. He would have had it fixed, but there's the cost of fuel. It would have been well over 200 miles one way. And then the cost of gas, the cost of the repair, Beautiful radio, though. Kentucky Goblin, your radio poor. You've got 5 mobiles, bass, and GMRS, and the one you just got. Excuse me, yeah. And I've scaled back a whole lot. Hello, Huga Homestead. Good to see you here. I've scaled back a lot. I don't have half the crap I had before, and I'm happy for it because I have less to keep up with. Yeah, shortwave. I've got. Matter of fact, I'll just go get it. I've got a little shortwave radio from back in the 80s or 90s. Okay, this is a bit dusty. This is it's actually a rebranded Sangean shortwave radio, but Radio Shack put these out, and this is my second one. And these are nice AM, FM, long wave and shortwave. They do single sideband. I'm pretty sure the batteries are dead. Yeah, batteries dead. Don't get them Dollar Tree batteries, they're crap. It's a good radio if you want to listen to alternative news from overseas. Shortwave can do that for you. Plus, it has your local AM and FM on it as well. not a bad thing to have. And if I were to suggest a shortwave now, a brand new one, I would go with the Texsun PL330. Texsun PL330. Reasonably priced. I believe it's under $100. Small enough to fit. It's actually, if we were just to take this speaker, that would be the size of the Texsun PL330, and it does just as good a job as a full-sized shortwave radio. This thing's hefty. You put the D batteries in this thing, it's hefty. If you want to put something in your go bag, something that's the size of just this grill right here, the PL330 from Texsun would be the best bet, and it's inexpensive. It not only does it have AM and FM, it's got shortwave and aircraft band on it. So win-win situation. You can listen to the news. Oh my goodness, kitties. You can listen to the news from across, around the globe and get a different perspective on the news. And a lot of times you can find out what the truth is, because sometimes our news isn't what it's claims to be. Shortwave is the best way to yeah, I was just listening to it the other day, Tango, and just the other day I just put those batteries in it. But yeah, actually my radio sits right next to the laptop, Kentucky Goblin. Yeah, Florida Sunshine. Just you can listen to aircraft. I've got a scanner over here that's running aircraft all the time. All right. Now watch, Kentucky Goblin's going to come up on my radio here in just a minute. Wish my camera.
Hey Barry, can you hear me?
There he is. What's going on?
I've listened to it there and good idea of what it sounded like.
Well, that's a good deal. Yeah, it sounds clear over here, and you can always play it back on replay and later and see what it sounds like on your end.
Okie dokie, back at you.
All righty, take it easy, Kentucky Goblin. That was clear, wasn't it? I hope you can understand. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to give his location out, okay? But I do call him my neighbor. It's not like next door neighbor, but I'll say within a mile radius. But I've hit repeaters that are 20, 30 miles away with this thing. Pretty impressive radio to be living in a valley. I appreciate that, Kentucky Goblin. That was a good test and perfect timing. Perfect timing. Maybe we could do something like that with the new radios. And then maybe cut a video with it. That would be cool. Yeah, old ways. You're right. Exactly. That was the Midland MXT 115 I have set up as a base station, Carol. So I'll just show you once again. That would be this one here. That was the radio you just heard, Carol. The Midland MXT 115. When you buy the radio, it actually comes with everything you see. I sound like I'm selling the radio, don't I? Hey, Midland, you better be listening. Come on. I wouldn't mind a sponsor right now, Midland. The MXT 115 will come with a weather band radio, weather alert if you turn it on. You can hit repeaters with it. It comes with this antenna, which is a fairly good antenna. I'm not going to knock it. That's what Godwin is using over there. He's got a model below this one. It was MXT 105. He's using that actual antenna you're seeing in the picture right there, stuck to the roof of his house. So there you go. That was a good idea. Definitely a good idea. Didn't show it. Did not see the photo. I don't know if it's my laptop or StreamYard, because StreamYard is. Let's try one more time. Let's see. I've got other things open. That's why. Okay. Might be why. Let's see. Yeah, StreamYard can be a pain in the butt sometimes. Not sure why. Hopefully it's showing it now. It is the MXT 115 by Midland. What I'm using here at the house. Okay, looks like it was showing it. So that's good. Okay. So I hope it worked that time. Okay, Tango. Take care. Bob, if you're in there, I sent you the link if you'd like to join. I'm not sure why it's not showing it now. What the heck? I don't know. Just one of them things. Yep, that's what I had for supper tonight too, was soup. I had chicken noodle soup. It's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know any other way to make it. Let's try a different layout. How about entire screen? Let's just, I'm going to beat it at its own game. Entire screen. Come on now. Wow. Thank you, StreamYard. Not. There we go. Now we can see it. Right? Oh my gosh. It's a Laura Hedgehog's Homestead. Good evening, my friend. So you can see that, right? You can see the radio now, Carol. Wow, it is so good to see you, Laura. I hope everything's well. Okay, nice. Okay, I'm glad it. I don't know. I had to change the layout to make make it work. So there we go. If everybody wants to take a like a 2-minute break, I'm gonna step step out of the room for just a minute, and I'll be right back. Okay. Somebody followed me. No, I picked him up. Oh, I hope Norman's okay. Okay, baby. Okay. Oh, look at that. Isn't that adorable? Hi. That's a cute little face right there. That's adorable. Yeah. Okay, baby. Howdy, garden. How you doing? Good evening. Yeah, this batch of kitties is really adorable. Just too much cute in this house. Just too much cute. It all comes from the cats. All right. Okay. Run and play. Gear. What's up, Gear? Laura, I lost count. 3. I'll just put it this way, Laura. 3 of the females decided to have a litter at the same time. Pretty much a few days after each other. It's insane. It is insane. I love cats, but too many. Gardening Warrior Q. Are you in here? Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. Did some of you just sneak in here when I was using the restroom? Was checking the plumbing or whatever? Well, it's good to see everybody in here tonight. Really, really good. Yeah. It's a wonder I haven't lost my mind and gone crazy. Or it's just too much cat. Old ways, you sound like you've had a busy day and yet not quite done with the day yet or the work. Homestead Aquarius. What's going on? Yep, some people popped in. I'm glad they did. Laura, how's Chris doing? He good? Yeah, that's a shame, Bob. I hope they weren't your favorite pants. Sometime I'll make it a point to get some fresh D-cell batteries for my shortwave, and we'll do a little shortwave tuning, and we'll show you how the shortwave works and what you can actually hear on it. I have to get my glasses on because I am having a hard time reading this screen. Okay, that's good. I'm glad he's okay. Yeah, I can actually read stuff. Nafaya, good evening to you. I think you might be new to my channel. I appreciate you coming in. I can't read with those on very long. County lockup. Bob, is there something we need to know? County lockup? What have you been doing, mister? Okay, I may have read that name wrong. I'm sorry. Well, I mean, Bob, you're in your own home, but it's different if you're standing out in the front yard with no pants on. It's a little different. Depends on how much attention you draw to yourself while you're standing out in the front yard with no pants on. That might get you locked up, I'm sorry. I read that totally wrong. Your name is Nina. I'm sorry. It is all man eyes and tiny print on the screen. That's my excuse. Yeah, I might think it was normal. Put the lotion in the basket. Yeah, Laura, Kentucky Goblin is my neighbor, kind of. We call each other neighbor. We're quite a bit far away from each other, but then not so much. Hard to explain without. I don't want to give out locations. Well, spent enough time around him. I think he's rubbing off on me a bit. Okay, I also I dropped a new video this evening, and I gave away what the mystery seeds were. So if anybody's not watched that just yet, that is up on my channel. And yeah, growing something we wouldn't normally see you wouldn't associate with Kentucky or really anybody here in on the East Coast, I guess. The hell, it's rice. I did give it away though. It is rice. We're growing rice, so we'll see how it goes. But still, you get a chance, watch that video. I'm plugging my own videos, which you don't normally hear me do. I'm hearing a cat meow, but I'm pretty sure all of them are in. Hey, Bob, as soon as it's ready to harvest, she's more than welcome. She can even take a bag of rice home with her. Yeah, Carol. Pretty much. It loves water. It loves water. It loves heat. So, yeah, pretty much. They really, you're supposed to soak them before you put them in the ground, but I've seen other people say that you can go ahead and put them in the dirt with plenty of water, and they'll still do the same thing. I think what I might do is make another one and try soaking the seeds before I put them in. So they seem like they didn't look anything Aquarius. They didn't look anything like they did in any of the videos that I've seen, and nobody said anything in their videos when they were showing themselves planting. That's all right, old ways. I totally understand. Hard to keep those phones charged up when you use them, a lot. But all the videos that I saw here on YouTube, nobody said anything about like soaking them or anything like that. This one lady, she just threw the seeds into the water, and let them sink down into the soil. And I was like, okay. And then there was another that planted them just like I did in the video. So I'm not sure, Aquarius. I don't know how that's going to work out. So what I might do is I might soak some and make a second pot of rice and see what it does that way. Start in the ground and then plant in the water. Yeah. See, I'm seeing just different ways of doing it, and it's confusing, Bob. It really is. Actually, I put them up in a container, so grows really well in kiddie pools. Yeah, pot and rice. No pot here, just the rice. Turn that off there. It was annoying me on the screen there. So I also found, just matter of fact, right outside this window, amongst the honeysuckle, is is grape, wild grapes, or summer grapes, as some call it. Which I've been told that you can use the sap, which is kind of a sticky sap, out of the stems, or you can use the leaf. And they do produce grapes as well, so you can pretty much use almost the whole plant. Me personally, I would just go for the grapes because I just love grapes, and I'm not sure if I would really like the leaves, and I can't see any use for the. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Hello.
Look, it's Laura.
I thought I'd come join you and see how you're doing.
I thought you disappeared off the planet.
Oh no, I just been busy like crazy,
I know, I saw.
it's
I'm
hard to run a
impressed. You
homestead.
guys did a lot.
We're
And
still
it
doing
looks
a lot.
great. It looks great.
Yeah. Chris is off work for a while, and so he's got workman's comp injury. And so he's probably gonna have to look for another line of work because it's too hard on he's got tennis elbow and golfer's elbow, and they want to do surgery probably if it doesn't heal within a month. Hey Bob.
Hey, what's up?
Much.
Good to see you.
What's up, everybody? How's my sound?
It's
Good.
great.
Okay. All right.
So is he driving a stick shift truck usually, or
No, it's just that all the freight moving is how it happened.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much like the Dollar General video where he had to deal with it. Yeah, but every day I'm sure that
every day, and those things get stuck, and then you're moving around like almost 1,000 pounds in one little thing, and and then it's wedged in between something, and so you're pulling and pulling and pulling, and they're like, well, you're not supposed to do it that way, and it's like, well, you need to stack them in here better then. So
wow.
So how's Seattle, Bob?
Well, we've actually had about 5 days of warm weather, believe it or not. No rain, warm weather. Yeah. It's not bad. Not bad.
I'm praying for rain because we've had a lot of warm weather, but got stuff to grow, so and not a lot of water. We have some water issues at the house, so.
Are you in the new house right now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Coolness. Cool.
Yep. Been in the new house for a couple months now, so enjoying it a lot. So.
How's it feel to live way up there in the middle of
BFE?
Yeah, way out there compared to Portland where you guys used to live.
Oh, it's so nice. The people are so nice here, and everybody's so welcoming, and seems like every other day I meet somebody, you get to know them for a couple minutes, and then they're inviting you to their church and to this function or that thing, So just really sweet people. So
Cool.
Yeah.
They're lucky to have you.
I'm lucky to have them too. So we're excited. We got chickens and ducks and geese in the brooder right now. So
cool.
We've got some meat chickens on the way pretty soon here. So I'm excited about that. Actually, I should see when they're coming. We have them coming in the mail, so. Yep. Well, they haven't set my other ones yet, so that's good. I'm a little worried that my brooder is going to be overflowing pretty soon if we get meat chickens on top of what we already have. Because we have 2 geese and 2 ducks and 1 turkey. We lost a turkey and 9 chickens in the brooder right now. So it's, if I have to stick in there 16 more chickens that grow really quick. So we'll be making chicken coops here real quick.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you got secure for the birds, because I'm sure out there's a bunch of coyotes roaming around.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured on that.
Yeah, I can always tell when the coyotes. Hi, Passamaquoddy. When the coyotes are around, I don't hear the turkeys, the wild turkeys, but when the coyotes aren't around, I hear the wild turkeys. So I kind of know when they're around.
Yeah.
So.
Thanks for stopping in, Passamaquoddy.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody.
Absolutely. It's good to see you. We've missed you.
I know I need to. Chris and I are actually going to do a live soon here to update everybody and stuff like that.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, it was going to be tonight, but I forgot to schedule it. So, yeah, we're still, our house still isn't complete. We still are doing some stuff on there. This room's complete, but like in our bedrooms complete. But our countertops and tile and some things like that aren't done yet. So we started working on the outside for a while, and now we've got to get back inside. But then we can't forget about the chickens. The garden's up though, so it's like things are happening. I saw your garden, Bob, in the backyard, and your nice little things coming up in your security system. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I've got a lot more that I didn't show.
Oh, okay.
Goodness.
Just living in that last place.
Yay!
Yeah. Living in that last place taught me a lot of lessons, man. You just can't turn your back.
Yeah.
Same with your place. You had people coming over your fence and trying to steal your livestock. It was just like that at my place. But it's been wonderful here, Laura, because like a couple of days, Mrs. had a couple of days off. And we sat out on the deck with nobody trying to beg, borrow, or steal anything. We were just totally left alone and just listened to some music, had coffee, and just the way life should be. Not like the last 10 years in the other place. So
yeah,
I'm just now getting to where I can do that.
Yeah,
Sit outside, not have to worry about some vagrant coming up here.
Oh yeah,
that's nice.
They've all been hauled off to jail, Laura. So
it's a lot of stress, isn't it, Barry?
A lot of weight off my shoulders.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bet.
All hauled off to jail for what?
Doing the stuff.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a
what they do.
Doing what they do.
Doing what they do.
They got their stupid prizes.
So you'll probably be a little more secure in what you have around your house too, then, because unfortunately, with people that do the stuff, they seem to, they get desperate. So
that's
disappear.
That's a fact. That is a fact. Yeah.
I still keep everything of value inside.
Yeah. Even here.
I don't leave anything out there that's of value.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it just, you hear people say when they, as you were growing up, that they would leave the back door unlocked.
Oh, my parents still did that up in PA, and it drove me crazy. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I used to. I don't do anymore. I mean,
that's the way I grew up, and it's still that way. Except at night, the doors get locked at night.
Yeah, no.
But here during the day, we have the back door.
Yeah, Dad would lock it at night, but I think as Dad faded and wasn't doing it, Mom
didn't pick it up.
Yeah, so it was
that's risky.
Yeah, very.
I still live the same way. When I'm in the back, I lock the front, and I just can't let my guard down. I had too many close calls.
Yeah.
with
You
those
have,
folks walking right into the building,
So true, Homestead.
Man, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like some of my family members. That would be a good place for some of them. Homestead. Yeah. 3 hots and a cot. Don't have to have them calling you up. And
like my family.
Some of my family
Like
members have been in such places.
Oh, I meant to ask you that, Laura, when you were saying it's really nice, but what about your siblings visiting that are not of the
Be right back, Al.
fair complected?
They're you know what?
Because I
I'm
know
not
you
worried
said
about it.
okay.
No,
You said you had that one neighbor, but I didn't know if there was more or if it was an issue.
a plumber of ours that it. I think it's just they
Because
just
even
talk,
north of us in certain areas, it's common. It's still,
they just
but
don't talk
yeah,
the same way about it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's just kind of a matter of fact about how it. I don't think it's even really considered prejudice, but
yeah.
but
But for us, not
yeah, it's
coming
just
in
kind of like
from that.
okay to refer to people that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, Glenn actually filled me in on an area up here, and it made sense because it was a crime that had happened in the community. And also prior to that, there was separation of the colors, and that was it came from the Black community. They wanted to be separate from the white, and but what it's done is it's made it weird for people like you and I. When we go up there, it's like, what's going on?
The weird thing is, I was actually feeling a lot of racism in Oregon and Portland before I moved here.
Wow.
And so, I mean, because of all the
Right. Old boys. Yeah, they
the
keep
stuff
getting
that was going on there with, the Black Lives Matter stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was
I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, it's been a while.
Yeah, sorry, Barry.
Sorry. I won't say anything
One of
else.
the 3-letter agencies will come after the 3 letters that we just mentioned. What is it with 3 letters? Gotta have 3
No,
letters.
but it seemed like that was setting a certain
Tone,
and it was okay all of a sudden to go after people that I was like, okay, you talk to me that way. That's kind of weird. What did I do?
Yeah.
Right.
I just happened to be of a certain tone.
Yeah. I know. We're just a box of crayons.
Yeah.
We're all just crayons.
You look the same on the inside.
That's right. Yep. Cut us open and we're the same.
Crack us open.
Ask, any anatomy class in, medical institutions.
God doesn't see color, so why should we?
Yeah.
Well, he sees it and he thinks it's beautiful. He sees it. He's not colorblind. He created it. And he sees it, but he doesn't want us to hate each other for something so shallow.
It's part of that great divide that's going on.
Oh yeah, all the divides, anything we possibly think of.
It's hard to avoid it because it's in our face.
Anything to keep the people from gathering together. And
from joining together.
Gathering
they always had that
together in a
problem.
positive light, I should say. If it's in a non-positive light, then we can gather together.
Exactly. Right. And that's sad. That's so sad. Well, that's like kingdoms that didn't want that to happen. I forget. I think it was Louis, the last king. I think it was in France. Where's Bob? Bob's I think it was the last king of France, and they executed him and his wife. And like the elites never want to see that happen again. Like, the populace rise up and say, "No more. You're not ruling over us anymore. Sorry."
Yeah.
And that's why they do that. They just divide us in every possible way they can. But I'm still dealing with trying to figure out what to do with Malachi, because there's no way I want to put him in a public school. Absolutely not, with all the stuff going on, the crazy stuff. But like starting over, I'm waiting on just even a over the phone appointment with his neurologist is taking forever to just get him that. It's like starting from square one all over again.
My goodness.
Yeah. Well, between the C word and then having my mom and not wanting people coming in that were treating like other children and bringing in stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Malachi got sick from them seeing younger children. Like he even got that thing. Hannah never had it. The hand, foot, and mouth. He got that. And I was
Wow.
like, yeah. It's gross.
I do think though that autistic kids and stuff like that get sicker easier because they don't have the awareness.
Yeah, because everything goes in his mouth. He doesn't have that awareness at all. And
that was the nice thing about Jonah, is nothing went in his mouth because he was never that way. And I think it was because he never sucked on a bottle very well. And so he went to a G tube very early, and so it just and he didn't have good sensory around his mouth and face and stuff like that. So
his teeth my son's teeth are good. The only thing is he has that tiny submucosal cleft. It's just teeny tiny. That is the only thing that we can think of. And of course everybody else except the surgeon wants to always do surgery, but everybody else on the team was like, he doesn't really need to go through that kind of pain. He doesn't need to go through the surgery for such a small cleft. That probably, it was just rare that we even found it. That's the type that you don't usually find till much later, unless all they do is they speak from their sinus or you can hear. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm boring. We're catching up. Laura and I are catching up.
Sorry. He looks normal to me.
Oh, what?
What'd you say, Bob? Or Bob?
Barry, what did you just say? You went quiet.
I said I wouldn't have. Is my audio too low?
Yes, well, it seems a little for me, but
okay.
It got lower than.
I didn't even know that he would. I wouldn't even know he had a cleft. I mean, you can't even see it.
Yeah, no.
It's very small.
Yeah, like a tiny notch. They just felt it. Because his uvula is split.
I just think it's perfect.
ENT looked. Yeah, the ENT looked and saw the uvula was split, and he goes, "Well, hold on just a second." And he gloved up, and he went, "Boop," and he's like, "Yep." He's got it. Not tiny notch back there. He said it's so minute, but it's there. And then he gave us the option to see the craniofacial specialists at Joe DiMaggio Hospital. They're kind of far for us, but the team is supposed to be excellent. And they were. It's just the last time the surgeon wanted to operate, and he's the oldest he's ever been. And prior to that, the surgeon didn't want to operate. So I was like, it's gonna traumatize him more now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all the thing happened with the C, and it just pulled us away from even doing that. And Theron and I are just like, you know what? Not feeling like we need to pursue that.
Yeah.
Right.
He's been through enough trauma.
Yeah. Some things are just kind of like.
Just not worth it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into that taking care of my elderly mom. Her kidneys were failing. I mean, she's way over 80, and my sister, who participated not.
Yeah.
You should take her to dialysis. I said,
yeah.
How about you take her?
That's right. Why don't you take her? And then watch her go through that pain.
Yeah, 4 hours every other day. And plus, they got to do a surgery and put a stent in their arm, a plastic tube-like thing. Like, the double finger salute to you, lady. Yeah.
And I was like, I was so glad Mom was with it when she was in the hospital, with it enough to, when I told her, I said, Mom, the only thing they are telling me is that they'd like to do heart surgery on you. I said, open you up completely and do a full sleeve. And I basically told her what it was. And she's like, oh, no, I don't want that. And I was like, thank you.
No.
A lot of times it's quality of life. Is this going to give me quality?
Exactly.
And you have to know, too, like when they get to that certain age, if the hospital finds something like that, they're using them. They don't care about them at that point. They're thinking they're using them as a teaching instrument for whoever is,
Surgeons are like that. Surgeons are like that.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Yeah. As long as you don't die on the surgery table, that's all
Yep.
they care about. And
That's
the
right.
payment. That's all. The surgeons are not like a normal doctor. They're
No,
kind of
So,
they're kind of like a ghoul, you know.
special breed.
as
Mhm.
Carol said, using them as a teaching tool. So
Yeah.
I have to ask you, Bob and Carol, and I'll ask Laura when she comes back, because I don't know what the answer is for Tennessee. But do you have teaching type hospitals down there like we do in Kentucky, where you have college
Like specific
med,
teaching? Yeah,
med
we have the University of Miami has
okay,
a hospital hooked into them, and their medical. University of Miami is a well-known medical school.
so so you do have med students
Yeah,
working
there is
on the side
yeah,
of
but even up and
surgeons.
coming doctors that are there in their first year haven't
Yeah.
performed all the surgeries.
Okay.
They're still learning alongside of other doctors that are maybe just like you see in certain medical shows. That part is somewhat accurate where you've got first year people that are still learning. They're doing their
Well, when I went for I spent like a year and a half going in and out of the hospital at Children's to find out that I had that muscular dystrophy. It was like, do you have a problem with these being grad or med students? And I said, no, as long as they know what they're doing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
because
As long as they have doctors over them in the room with you.
That's the way it's supposed to be here in Washington. I know
not
that.
leaving.
Yeah.
A lot of anesthesiologists leave. They leave their assistants. You want to make sure you have an assistant that has been there longer than a year that's doing your surgery for anesthesia. And even ask if you can have the anesthesiologist do it. Say, can I have the board certified anesthesiologist please in with me because I have whatever XYZ. I have asthma, and if I had to have a major surgery, I'd be asking for the anesthesiologist, not an assistant.
More people die from the anesthetic than they do from the actual procedure.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Always, no, they don't. They didn't care about my mom if she lived or died. They care. What Bob meant was they don't want them to die on the table.
On the table.
Because it's a liability to the hospital.
And to the
if
surgeon.
They know they can just keep them alive through the surgery.
Shuttle them right out to the recovery room, then die. Yeah. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I left something in you.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, that was just too much. That was going to be too much of a surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if always did they even want to do the surgery for Junior. I think his is like splitting, right? The wall of the heart or something. I remember you explaining it a little bit. I feel so bad like that you guys are going through that. I cannot imagine. She's got a lot on her shoulders right now.
Yeah, like if my mom was 40 years old and she was having kidney failure, that's different. But over 80 something years old, way over 80.
Yeah.
Oh,
man. And that's keeping them hydrated properly, which is hard too if their kidneys are failing. It's it's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I worry about that with my mother-in-law. She's got 30% kidney function.
Oh, wow. I was actually just listening to that. It was a lady on here, and she talks about brain health, and she was saying how kidney health is related to your brain, very much so, in your brain health and dementia, and that your kidneys failing is correlated with it, all those toxins, and push the dementia further.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that with my mom.
Yeah,
the toxins really threw her, and it never stopped. It just kept going down. The dementia went into full blown Alzheimer's. It was so sad, man. But
I
what
know.
are you gonna do?
What you do, I know.
That is a hard disease for people when they're my sister or my aunt had dementia really bad, and just but Alzheimer's and dementia and just those kinds of things, to watch your loved ones go that way, it's just really hard.
Yeah, it was hard to see my dad go that way. And what was weird was my dad knew he had, like, when we would go to doctors, he would come back into himself during, because the checkup was familiar. And he's like, why am I here? They're just going to tell me they can't heal my memory.
Right.
They can't help me. And it's like, oh, God. Just stab me in the heart.
My sister and my mom came and visited 2 weeks ago. And they were only here for like 3 days. But boy, just the change in my mom since I have been gone.
Yeah.
My goodness.
We see it more when we don't see them, and then when we visit, we see the change more than the people who are with them see that drastic jump because they're with them daily. That happened too to me. Yeah, Laura, I know what you're talking about.
She's just, just horrible. I'm like, whoa, okay. You know?
Yeah. Same thing. I saw that with my dad, and nobody would believe me. I was like, no, something's wrong. The first time we went up when they were in their new place, and nobody would believe me. Like, no, something's wrong, Daddy. I think it's something like with his brain. Something's not. Oh no, it's just age. And I'm like, no, something's off.
Part of my mom's problem is her hearing is so poor. And my mother-in-law's is the same way. Their hearing is so poor that it's hard because my mother-in-law will like act like she heard you.
Yep.
And then she'll talk later about a situation, and like, especially when we're moving here, because she had anxiety about how her living situation was going to be here.
Yeah.
And she, we communicated things with her, but unless you sit, even with her hearing aids on, sit right in front of her and talk to her.
Yeah.
She's missing stuff. Because I
that
think
can be processing though, right? Because of the brain, it can just be both.
Well, one of the things that they say is that when you don't hear certain words, and if certain words are spoken usually in certain tones and stuff like that, you lose that vocabulary. Just hearing it. That's why reading to your children is so important.
Yeah, that's what we're doing every night.
Yeah.
And that's what I told my husband too, like, because I'm so glad you're up here so I can come up here. I don't have many women to go up on panels with. That's what's causing a little challenge. But I told my husband, I said, my brain is turning into jello because I don't have that input.
Right.
He's real quiet. Then Malachi's got his language issue where I'm not getting input back. I'm giving him input, but there's no input coming back my way in conversational. And my daughter's in her room. So I'm like, I need that. I've got to have that conversation because I feel like I'm just losing it. Not losing my mind, but just like you said, I'm not, my language center is not doing well.
Right.
Because I am not conversing as much with people.
Right.
Okay. His whole distending artery is, oh my goodness, the whole thing is ripped inside.
Wow.
Anyways,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I wish they had some kind of like laser surgery that they could fix that. That's just terrible. Yeah, my mom had the aorta, that it was the embolism, but it was her descending aorta, and it was somewhere where it was also on her stomach. Aortic embolism. I'm trying to remember the name, but it touched both, so that's what made it like a big no-no. Like, no, we don't need to. And they even said in Pennsylvania they didn't know how long it had been there, and they didn't touch it when she went into her stroke. So it's like, no, you guys aren't in a Florida hospital. Sorry, you're not touching it. No way. And plus, I saw her treatment there, and I was like, if you treat her like this, and I'm here every day, what are you going to treat her like after a surgery like that?
we always kind of made it in a habit in our family whenever somebody went in, especially if they weren't cognitive,
Yeah.
you know, and had, verbal or anything like that. You got to be in there for them with them,
Yeah.
It's like you
That's
can't,
what
can't
the one
trust.
day, no, the one day I was late, she was diagonal on the bed. The phone was ringing, and I had asked my sibling not to call her because she was out of it because she's in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she had my nephew call because she thought Mom would really like that. He would, she'd just like that to hear from him. I'm like, do you know, she almost fell out of bed because of that stupid phone. And she was yelling because she didn't know what the sound was.
Wow.
It was awful. She had
Right,
pulled
like
her
a minute.
out too. Thank God she didn't pull out her IV.
Right.
Getting ready to. Actually, no, at that point, they didn't give her one yet because of water.
Just give me that last trip to Bangkok. Okay. Die with a smile on my face.
Oh my gosh.
Money's on the dresser, brown sugar. See ya.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Why are the guys always laughing at that stuff? The women just gonna.
Because if my husband did it, he'd be dead before he got there.
Yeah, like good chance I'm gonna actually see that day. You know?
Something to dream about, to not go out in a bad way. Yeah.
Or you had to get a blanket.
Family rumor forever.
Right?
How did your dad die? I don't want to talk about it.
Let's just say he was in his happy place.
Yeah. Yes. With company. With company. Too funny.
Oh man.
Too funny. Okay, this one comes out of the top of your heart and goes down into his lower abdomen. Yeah, that's okay. It's over a foot long. The tear is, or the
artery.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, old ways. Yeah, they probably don't want to mess with that. Just where it's at. Did they say they want to, old ways?
Is that the aortic artery?
It's an aortic artery, yeah.
Oh, that's what hit my dad.
Descending artery that goes down into it. Sounds like it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a really long artery. I've seen that's like what my mom had.
That's what my dad had, the perfect death, because his aorta just split
completely
over that quick. Just like yeah.
You mean like his embolism just blew up?
Yeah.
Or
just done. Well, I remember he knew something was going on because I was still in the Air Force. And a lot of times I'd call home, talk to my mom, and sometimes he'd talk to me, sometimes not. But the last time I talked to him, he goes, I want you to know that I'm proud of you and I love you.
Oh.
Yeah, he knew something was wrong.
Coming. They say that.
He knew.
They say that. I just actually had talked to a nurse recently, and they were saying, if it's this certain type of thing that person's dealing with, they'll have kind of a revelation that something's bigger is going on.
Yeah.
And Vanderbilt. I pray you get there, old ways. I pray you get there.
It kind of sucked because I applied for a 30-day leave and I had it approved, but a sergeant took my slot because he outranked me and he took my slot. And during that time, that's when I would have been at home when he passed away, which I would rather have. But yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe it would have been hellacious too and traumatic to be there.
I'm sure it would have been, but I would have rather been next to him,
Yeah.
And I remember my first sergeant woke me up.
Time with him, before.
Yeah. My first sergeant woke me up in the middle of the night. That's the only time I saw the Air Force move fast. When you have a family member die, they get you on a plane now.
Wow.
Right now. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though. that they'll do that.
It is. He called in the 702. The secretary was a guy. He said, "Meet me in the orderly room at 6:30." Okay, Sergeant. And I was there, and the 702 was already typing up the forms. Here you go, Robert. And the first sergeant had to sign it off, and the commander signed it off. Get on the plane. Here's your ticket. Go. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. What else can you do? Old ways, just his body, and he's got to have the strength to get through it, and strength of mind. Wow. They said that they just made it, Bob, to the hospital any later, and his would have blown too. She would have lost him.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's so close.
Prayers
Wow.
for you guys, definitely. I mean, we were already praying, but for sure that you get to Vanderbilt.
Hope so.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm fixing to move that heater over here.
Is it getting that cold tonight up there?
51. I'd say it's not much different for Laura either.
No, it's about the
That's
same.
so crazy. What? Okay,
It's
wait a minute.
59 here in Seattle.
That's okay. Some of my stuff's coming up that it was a little late in the spring to start it, so it's liking this cooler stuff. So that's good.
Mine is 78 degrees. Feels like, hold on. Feels like 83 with 81% humidity in South Florida.
Yeah, we had one day, Carol, it was pretty close to 90, just one day.
Yeah, like, isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
I remember that. I remember that from it being in PA, that it would have those fluctuations.
I had all my inside plants outside on the deck, and they got sunburned. I didn't even think about it. But that 90-degree, bam, it burned the daylights out of them.
I got some hydrangeas for Mother's Day and put them out in the front area, and they got burnt.
Same with ours.
Even though they're sun lovers. So.
Wow, even Alabama's gone to 50. What the diddly do?
No, walk on the keyboard.
Did you see that? I posted it on the community tab. Mrs. trimming our hydrangea. That's one of them that got sunburned. And
that's a shame.
It was a gift.
Good baby, aren't you?
They die here. They never survive here. Hydrangeas.
Oh,
you take them out of public. You take them out of Publix and just take them home, and they're like, eh.
I hear you.
It's like it's just that little car ride on the way home. They're like, I don't feel so good.
I had a couple of plants do that. Yeah, planted them in the front, and they look so pretty and beautiful. And Mrs. took pictures and all that. And next day,
yeah, I think they just they don't consistently water them, or they overwater them at the store. And you catch them right at that moment where they're like, oh, and then the root rot happens.
Yep. Exactly.
That's what happened too. I got 2 lavenders, and they were really pretty. They almost look like daisies. The name starts with a C. It's a different type of name. And they were supposed to be perennial my butt. They were so tender. They just drooped. Yeah. And the lavender, I can never keep lavender alive either. Just never wants to. But I think it was because it was in a pot and they
it's supposed to do really well here. And I planted some in my herb garden because it's a good, pollinator attractor as well.
Yeah, great for making
pollinator attractor, I should say.
Yeah, I need to figure out where to put my pollinator attractors because of using BT. I don't want to accidentally spray the good caterpillars.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
So with a small yard, it's kind of hard to do that.
It is.
To figure it out. And I want to plant some watermelon too. And I know they can get worms. And okay, well, where do my flowers go? Right. I guess I need flowering trees all over. So it's up above where I spray the BT.
I just put in 4 apple trees.
Yay!
Yeah. So
nice.
About that.
You guys can grow Asian pear. I'm pretty sure. What's your zone again?
I think it's 8.
Oh my gosh, they're delicious. I just told Bob I had my first Asian pear. And it was good. So
There's
good.
so
So
lot.
I looked up the tree and nope, of course not. Not in 10B.
Right.
It's too close to an apple.
Yeah.
Listen to your daddy.
Yeah. Pears do really well here. I want to get some peaches too.
They are making peaches for down this way. They're trying to come up with more heat resistant peaches, more tropical. I think it's even called the tropical peach.
Mm-hmm.
But the only one they had at the big box store was
So silly.
huge and expensive.
Oh, I got the apple trees were like $40 a piece.
That's
I
great
got
price.
2, and then they're like 3 foot tall. So I mean, they're like 3 years
Potted.
old.
So
Yeah.
they're rooted.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Really nice.
So
That's a great price. For down here, that 45 is about the lowest for a potted, and that would be a small pot.
mm-hmm.
Oh, nice, Kentucky. So it does well there. There you go.
That is cool.
I love the smell of lavender.
Me too.
Like
Yeah.
real lavender, not some of the lavender oils aren't real lavender.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello to my
That's why I planted quite a few petunias in pots all around the place, and especially in the morning when the flowers first wake up, they smell.
I've been
so
throwing in
nice.
seeds everywhere, like morning glory and just all kinds of stuff.
Oh, don't plant morning glory.
Morning
oh my
glory is
God.
invasive in some of those.
Oh, you're gonna regret that.
We'll see.
Is it just to break up the land? Is that why?
No. I'm doing it to just to have something run up, and be pretty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's in a pot, so it's not gonna.
Oh, there you go.
You said you were throwing it everywhere, so we're thinking.
No.
I'm fighting that stuff right now because this place was overgrown before we moved in, and there's morning glory everywhere. And I'm going to have to switch to Roundup next. I'm going to have to.
You should try the really strong vinegar. That's what they were saying tonight. John was saying.
Oh, honey, it just drinks that stuff. And bleach will stun it for a day, maybe kill the plant, but 2 more come up from the root. So I tried digging the roots out.
50% like acidity?
Trust me.
Tried it all. Okay.
I've tried. I even dug the roots out, and a little particle of a root, bam! It grows right back up again.
So you're about ready to salt the earth.
Yep. Spray it with that thick, no drip bleach.
Yeah.
It'll kill it, sort of.
Yeah.
But if you missed, so I'm going for the Roundup next.
Mm-hmm.
If that doesn't work, then there's
napalm is illegal.
Oh yeah,
make sure you have a mask on,
mm-hmm.
and some gloves on.
Mm-hmm.
And
pants. I'm gonna call in an A10 or a B-52 bomber next week. Hit that stuff with some napalm.
That's what I was talking about. The
tactical nukes.
We were talking about it tonight.
I had
Robert has a problem with poison ivy now, and John was telling him to get the really high acid cleaning vinegar. Yeah,
I've had luck with vinegar for some of the broadleaf plants. It'll knock them senseless and sometimes kill them.
Yeah.
But this morning glory and the horsetails, my God, man.
Well, I can't talk much because I actually did salt the earth in between my pavers. I can't use this Celtic salt because I read that I was looking up lead in salt, and it pink salt and this salt. High offenders. You guys might want to check the salts that you're keeping, and it's online. It's actually a mom who made it her how do you say that? Her passion because her children had lead poisoning. So salt contains lead.
Even the pink Himalayan?
The Himalayan is a
that's all I use, but I don't use a lot of salt. So
I know I use Celtic because the Himalayan I saw this area, the sea where they were talking about it was an algae, and the algae happened to bloom, and it was exactly the color of Himalayan salt.
Oh wow.
And they were saying it's a toxic algae, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like
they're taking away all the good stuff, aren't they?
I know. So anyway, I used mine in between my pavers just a little bit, just brushed it in there, took care of the weeds, no problem. Not a lot of it. Just, I don't think anybody's going to plant anything there for quite a while. So
Yeah.
I don't regret it. Sorry.
If the Roundup doesn't work on the horsetails in the morning glory, an old friend of mine here on YouTube recommended glyphosate.
That's Roundup.
Oh,
That's
is it?
Yeah.
That's the generic name for it?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let me
It's
see if they have it on
a
Amazon.
class action lawsuit for cancer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Bad stuff.
That's why
I worry about my husband.
Protection.
Yeah, I worry about my husband because he works around that stuff. The company.
I don't use it.
I don't either, and I don't let him use it in the backyard. The front yard is all his because it's his calling card for his business. Truck is sitting out in the front, so it's our bread and butter right now.
Right.
I'd really like to get the equity out of this house and go somewhere else and pay off a house, and he doesn't have to work for a company like that, but put food on the table for us for a long time.
Yeah.
So, and they do have an organic branch, but for the guys that have used the chemicals all these years, they're like, the organics don't work. Right. They're not, they're used to something quick and it lasts.
breaks down your soil, unfortunately. I mean,
bad
it's
stuff.
like their grasses do really good for a few years, but then later it just doesn't do well.
Yeah. Well, our grass in the front is excellent. In the back, I don't let him weed and feed it. So it's patchy because of all the trees, the shades it out. That's okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with all my grass. No weed and feed. What I do between different projects, I'll go out there and like the areas that got a lot of thatch and a lot of weeds in an area.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing in the back. Just dig it out by hand, and I'm going to order another 15-pound bag of grass seed off Amazon, and it's working pretty well right now. Put some
straw over it so that you don't lose it all the birds.
Yeah, I ran some crows off the other day, little communists,
Yeah. I know. I was like, man, I need a scarecrow. No, we planted cowpeas in our field.
Oh, how are they doing?
They're doing good.
I got some too. In fact, I was walking out of Lowe's and you could tell they were new gardeners. I said, you look like brand new gardeners. I said, you know what? I only got these seeds here. I said, but this is a gardener thing. I said, these are cowpeas. And I poured out some in my hand. I said, we share seeds with each other. And she was like, really? She's like, thank you. Like, I created an addict, I bet.
You probably did.
I'm like the pusher.
Now she's walking up to gardeners and saying, hey, you want to share some seeds? Not all gardeners use seeds, so.
You want some good Colombian cow's peas? Yeah, man. No, don't give me the money, man. No, someone's looking. Don't give me the money. Here, just take it. Don't give me the money yet.
No, I'm gonna shake hands, but in a little bit. Wait for that car to go away.
You have some experience now, don't you?
No. Yeah. I've seen some things. I never participated, but I
read a book about it once.
I do live in Florida. They tell us kind of what to watch out for as teachers. If you see this and this behavior in the front of the school,
yeah,
you kind of get a little training from police officers when you're a public school teacher.
Hey man, it's Panama red cowpeas. Hey man.
I couldn't sleep, so I'm like, I bet you there's some folks up right now.
Yeah, I'm Friday and Storms is on Sunday now, and Yossi was Saturday, but he's been ill. He's really not been feeling well. But he also said he's just burnt out on YouTube right now with all the stuff because of not feeling well and the stuff in his country too, because they keep thinking they're going to war,
right?
Anytime, like any day. So yeah, if we were going to war any day here, and I lived in such a small country surrounded by all those other countries that
don't like me,
probably would be the same way.
I there's a massive military buildup in the Philippines right now. Massive.
Oh
Wow.
my.
They're not telling us anything about
No.
it at all. You
No.
know,
And he's
nothing.
a former military, so he hears from people who are
Sure.
inside.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So he knows about that stuff too. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, my family knows. All we heard was back in the '80s that they closed Subic Bay Navy and Marine Corps base, and then Clark Air Force Base in the '80s, and they never told us anything else. And I go there and talk to my family. Oh yeah, you guys never left. There's air bases up here, and there's marine bases, and yeah, you guys never left.
Mm-hmm.
At first time I heard that, I went,
oh,
huh?
Interesting.
But yeah.
Hmm.
Now there's a major Air Force buildup there. Yeah.
Wow.
It's probably because we have cells here in America. They don't want us to know because we've got good and bad.
You can bet on that. Well, I remember I started looking into this a long time ago because my wife would watch Filipino news, and it's all in Tagalog, and she would she'd translate for me, and 5 brand new Air Force bases that they're admitting to.
Oh wow!
One of them, the U.S. built it back in 2014.
Wow.
Did they tell us anything about that?
Haven't heard a thing.
Haven't heard a thing.
Wow. Crazy stuff.
I made one video about it, and I waited until their president over there made it public. And then I went, okay, guys, here's some links you can follow if you want to look into this,
Wow. Yeah. That was that's an eye opener for a lot of us.
Yeah, I did make one unlisted video with some specifics about stuff that I know about from Filipinos and what the news, and I made an unlisted video and sent it to Steve at Corsairs Trainers because
I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah, he was back in the day when he was a Marine Raider. He was down in Basilan Island. So
what's a Marine Raider?
There's special forces in the Marine Corps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is a badass. He is a badass.
Special forces. Wow.
Yeah. There's raiders who work for MARSOC, which is a joint military group, and then there's recon Marines. Recon works for the Marine Corps only, but raiders work for all the other services. Plus, they're very good teachers. Like
what he does.
Yeah. He is a good teacher because that's what he did in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Like in the Marine Corps rifle range, for example, raiders are the instructors. They're a cut above, physically and mentally. They're a cut above the infantry.
Oh wow. No, Past McQueen, I don't think I did, hon. I've been out. I got home right before John's live. No, I haven't watched that. I will, though. I've watched that before, though. I like him. She sent me a Trey Smith thing from... He's prophetic.
Okay.
Yeah, prophetic ministry. I've watched his stuff before. My
sister likes her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God in a nutshell. Yeah. He's talked about just those really strange skulls that they found being part of that whole period of the Nephilim.
The giants.
The giants, yeah.
Yeah.
That being related to it.
Well, they're finding, supposedly, now I have no way to prove this, but they're finding like the whole skeletons.
Yeah, I've seen like a faked picture of one that they unearthed and that ended up being a fake. Oh, hello.
I bring it every day.
I like that.
How you doing, my friend?
Getting the Filipinas coming in.
That's
good. I like them.
Yeah.
It's Kelly, here in America.
Oh, she's in America? Is she a Filipina?
No.
Or no? Oh, that's right. Kelly was in here last time, I think, for a bit.
Yeah.
That poor little Filipina came in and popped, I think, right back out. We scared her.
It's like, hi, bye.
Whoops, wrong one. Sorry.
Wasn't as exciting as having Verna show up. That was
that was
That
neat.
was nice. She is such a sweetheart.
That was so weird. They were talking about Verna Cordone.
Yeah.
We say it, Verna Cordone. And just, how wonderful she is. All of a sudden, she pops in the side chat.
Yeah.
Both the guys were like, oh.
Oh, hey, welcome here.
Too funny.
Yeah.
Too funny. Oh, it just told me how to exit full screen and then fade it away. I don't know how to do it. This computer has been giving me trouble.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
Yeah, true. Old ways. Okay, Pats, I'll watch it. Oh, thanks, Storms.
You're welcome.
Yeah, back to the buildup over there. I'm kind of apprehensive I might call my brother-in-law on Facebook and ask him about what's going on over there, but I don't want anything put into writing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I don't want
him getting in trouble. Yeah.
Right. Same with me too. I'll speak to him, but I don't think I want to put anything in writing. I just want to be real careful.
Yeah.
Because it is dangerous there. And when we were there last December, one of the members of the family, he's a rifleman in the Philippine infantry. He's a killer. He had he's a badass, and I asked the wife and some of the family, I said, do you think I should do an interview with him on YouTube? And they all said, no, don't put that out in public because we don't want you to be associated with the military here, hon. Okay. Oh, wow. Sounds good enough to me. I'll take your advice. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because you already have one strike against you. That's what I was just thinking. Yep.
Exactly. The Muslims, if they see, yeah, they might not do anything to me or Mrs., but they might do something to the extended family. That's
or they
why
might do something to you, thinking that you're doubly important.
Bingo. Yeah, that's why giving out my personal information is so not allowed. Because like my Facebook.
Yes, totally respect not doing that.
Yeah. And if there's any of the extremists that are watching my family's Facebooks and they find out the Americans are coming to town, there's a real risk one of my beautiful nieces winds up in the trunk of a car and gets gang raped until we can pay to get her released. And Americans just don't understand that. They don't understand that.
They don't. Yeah, I didn't know any better until a kid in my youth group had been kidnapped in Colombia, but he at least escaped, but his cousin didn't make it out. He escaped and he came home and told us that, like,
wow,
he never saw his cousin again. And
oh, good Lord.
The family was sent, I guess.
Kelly, if you want to come up, I left a StreamYard link there in chat. If you want to come up, you can. Sorry, Carol.
No, it's okay. Yeah, but people don't realize it unless they have a connection to a country that is like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does that for money making. Really, they'll do it just to make some money.
It's just money. Yeah.
Laura's on the panel with me tonight. Come say hi to her.
Who's out there?
No, I was telling my husband Laura's on the panel with us tonight.
Oh,
I haven't seen Laura in a while.
Yeah, it's hard. My husband knows about that too. He was in a couple countries that things like that would happen. And
your husband was in the Army and did flying, or
he was a helicopter repair.
He did the repair on the helicopters. I couldn't remember if he flew them or if he.
No, My brother-in-law flew them.
Yeah. Wow. I was glad that my dad didn't make it into those planes in World War II.
Yeah.
So many of them went down. I was so glad he didn't.
I'll take a range check. Kelly, I'll take a rain check on that. I totally get it. It's late and you're ready for bed. And it's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that my dad and we, even when I was in the Air Force too, we didn't get to know the pilots. You just don't, you know, just sir.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah, not to get emotionally attached because they might not come back.
Correct. Yeah, my dad lost a lot of pilots in World War II. They just gone.
Yeah, they did.
You know.
I mean, my dad could have been lost multiple times just doing the Jeep driving because he drove the brass and they were target.
First one to get shot is the driver. He's the first to go.
So kidnap the brass and take
bingo. Yeah, private or corporal. Pow. You know, we don't need you, dude.
Yep. So true. So.
That's what my son did in Afghanistan, is drove the brass around.
Yeah. It's like at first you think it's cool and then you're like, holy crap.
Yeah. They're looking for these guys in the back. And
what was that rocket that just whizzed by my window?
Yeah. I know.
Same thing I used to tell my little brother, you know, I said, you know, it does kind of, you know, I'm proud of you, but it does bother me that you would be jumping out of a plane.
Oh, yeah.
And you carry the radio. Take your communications out. That's the first one.
Bingo.
And it's
that's the first guy.
You know, I thank God every day that he didn't have to see that kind of combat. You know.
Good deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I was glad Dad went in.
Either.
Oh, sorry, Laura. Go ahead.
My husband didn't see any combat either, so. But my son did.
Yeah.
Neither did I. I don't need those memories. I've seen enough blood in my life. I don't need that too. You know.
Don't close it. Just like it's okay. Yeah, my dad didn't talk about it until he was 80. Really? Talk about, you know, maybe here and there something would slip out, but not much. And when he was around 80, and that's when it hit him too, like what a dodo he was, that he left the work on the farm because it was hard.
Right.
See the world is what he thought as a little farm kid, you know.
But they used to
I'm gonna go see the world.
That was one of the ways they promoted entering the service was see the world. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
He believed it.
Bob would know. I mean, it's just,
and he got to see some of the world he might not have never, you know, gotten to see, but he also saw things that made him speak German in his sleep for years and years after.
Wow.
Even when I was a baby, he was still speaking German in his sleep, my mom said. And my mom was the second wife.
Oh wow. Yeah, my dad would wake up in the middle of the night, you know, sometimes in a panic, sometimes he'd scream and wake up, you know. Some of the stuff he didn't talk to me much until after I was in the service, and then he would talk to me, and it would just be him and I. And he told me about when they were in Italy. The British loaned the U.S. some night fighters. They were called bow fighters, and they landed at an airfield not far from Rome. And then the British wanted the airplanes back because our guys got night fighters that were going to be delivered to China, Burma, India. So this squadron had no airplanes. So they'd have them ride shotgun in the supply trucks going up into the Italian mountains. And he did tell me about one village he saw when the Germans pulled back. They killed everybody in the village. Everybody, and he saw that. You know, he had one word. He had one word for the Germans. He said they were beasts. That they just killed everybody.
They were messing them up, putting all kinds of drugs in there.
Yeah, they did.
Yep, and Italy had basically signed signed the papers to get away from Germans and to come towards the Allies, And so now they're your enemy, and the Germans
I
were
know.
very disciplined military, kill them. I don't want any of them to know where we're going. So they
Right.
did, Then he saw the starvation when they flew from India into China so many times.
Yeah.
And the population of China was starving to death by the thousands. And he saw
Wow.
that.
I remember when we were going through the sea, and there was people that were talking about that, like this stopping everything is going to cause massive starvation issues
Yeah, I
across the
remember
world
that too.
because of not having the production of food.
Right.
Yeah, I remember you saying that always.
In
My dad
Korea,
wouldn't watch the films. He would not watch any of the. I remember. I don't know if it was I remember one of the boys. It was either my husband when he was young, or it was my nephew. And there was some war film on, and he's like, "I don't have to watch those. I was there."
Right.
It's like I don't watch. But
yeah,
my dad would watch cowboy
yeah.
movies, but he would never watch a war film.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do it.
Yeah, my former father-in-law, he was a rifleman in the infantry in the Korean War. He was up there in the trenches. He was carried a Browning automatic rifle, and the only thing he kind of talked about a little bit was how they would go for weeks and weeks without a shower or a change of clothes. Nothing. You're just filthy,
Yeah.
And he said they'd truck them out of there and put some replacements in the trenches, and then truck them out of there, and you were allowed to get one hot shower and a couple nights of sleep, and some hot food, and they issue out mountains of new uniforms. And he was 6'5". He said, I couldn't find any clothes that fit me. He said, and I asked him, well, what did you do? He goes, I wore whatever I could get.
Yeah.
At least they were clean,
Right.
It wasn't good. That's amazing. Passamaquoddy just saw a wolf when she went out for a cigarette. And got her butt right back in the house, she said.
Oh, I don't blame her. Them things are scary.
But he didn't growl. He just was sitting there on a rock, but she wasn't taking any chances. I'm like, yeah, no way.
You can see, if you've seen a real one in the wild, which I have, immediately that ain't no dog.
Yeah.
And that ain't a coyote. That's only one thing. Those things are massive.
Right.
They are
huge.
We have a coyote on the property that keeps on showing up in our cameras, and it's big. It's a big coyote. You're almost like, is that a coyote, or is that something mixed with something that's big?
Aren't they mixing? They are mixing. I thought I heard something there.
I looked into it a little bit, guys. That the wolf the coyote is a derivative of wolf. It is
so maybe they can mix.
It would surprise me. Would not surprise me.
Yeah.
Oh, fox ran by you. Neat.
Yeah, we caught a couple of hogs on a camera, and I'm like, oh, I hope they don't start populating.
Oh, I know.
Or are still around when we are, getting some hogs, because they'll breed with, regular pigs. So, yeah.
My father-in-law served and has many. This is Mountain Maple Ranch. She says, my father-in-law served and has many stories. Even though I hear them all, I will listen to them every time he has a story. Me too. I used to. When my dad finally talked, I was right there.
Yeah.
It's funny when they tell their stories over and over again and you're listening to them, they'll say something new sometimes, and it's like, really? And I think they feel more comfortable telling their story when they,
some of those suppressed memories come back.
Yeah, that's it too. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I think that's part of it. Plus, they see that you didn't freak out when you told them the truth, and okay, I'll talk to you a little more about it.
They can tell when you're paying attention.
It could be always.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
wild
wow,
hogs.
That's scary always.
Coyotes are beginning to come up on our property here, and
that's true. If I can find it to shoot it.
Yeah.
We've also have bobcat out here.
Oh, yeah.
Here
Homestead said you guys have red wolves there too in Tennessee as part of a reintroduction program, but their numbers are very low. Lots of big coyotes and coyote dogs. That's what Old Ways mentioned. Coyote dog makes
coyote dogs. Yeah.
Laura, I actually saw a fox not even 20 feet from my door.
Oh, really?
Yeah, here a few weeks ago. It wasn't paying attention. I wasn't either, and I was just walking out towards the driveway, and I looked at the corner of my eye. I thought it was one of my cats, and then I realized, oh crap! And it turned around and looked me square in the eye, and then took off running.
Did the same thing, like, oh crap, oh crap.
Yeah, I bet
like,
it did.
It was a fox, and we hadn't seen foxes in this valley for years, and we saw them on all the adjacent roads, the main roads, but not back here.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're starting to people are starting to see them.
Yeah. Maybe it's God's grace to us for what's coming, because that's the same thing here. I'm seeing the cotton tails more.
Yeah.
Well, I learned looking into coyotes how they spread from like basically Texas and Mexico all across the countries because people kill them. When you kill a coyote at night, they do a call and they do a roll call. If one of them doesn't answer, all the females in that pack go into heat. All at the same time. They all go into heat. So you kill one, you just created 14 more.
Yikes.
That's how they've spread so fast.
Terrible. We had a cougar that was a 2-year-old female that got a hold of our goats. But, oh my goodness, about 4 years ago. Yikes.
I'm not sure if this is going to play very well because I'm holding it up to the mic on my laptop.
The coyotes smell the cats too. Yikes.
Oh, that's a snack for a coyote.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me see if y'all can hear this.
Is that a fox?
Coyote.
Okay.
What a weird call.
They have like some weird vocalizations that they do. It's
what did Gear say? I missed it.
Well, whatever kind of a chicken run you make there, Laura, make it out of steel angle bar and weld it.
Yeah.
Gear said he got attacked by a cougar this morning.
That's funny. Good for you, Gear.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's just what you need.
Yeah. Yeah, foxes like cats too. Yeah,
foxes and coyotes do have some similar sounds, and I did question it because I was going by what calls I have heard online.
Yeah.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. I was actually standing in my front yard when I recorded that, and I heard, Kentucky Goblin saying it might have been a cougar. Oh, wrong cougar. Okay, never mind. But anyway, I was standing in my front yard recording that.
Wow.
And then I realized it was coming from two different directions. I'm like, okay, there's more than one.
Yeah.
Stood out there a little bit longer and realized that there were three.
Wow.
And they were in different locations across the road. And, I was standing there, and of course it's dark. And I thought, wonder if I really should be out here right now, But my neighbor right in front of me, he heard something going on outside, and he looked up, and it was like maybe 6 feet from his porch, the steps to his porch, on his front porch. And I said, well, you got your cat out there, right? And he said, yeah, it sleeps on the porch. And I said, well, it probably smelled the cat or the cat food.
Huh.
So it's now they're starting to get brave again and come back.
I was trying to look for it. Look for a bobcat call, Barry. Old Ways is saying it could be a bobcat.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like a bobcat.
Yeah, when you think about it, it does sound more like a cat.
Well, if it is, there was more than one.
Yikes. She's had a bobcat make that same
Because
sound.
I'm not discounting it. We have them here in Kentucky. So.
Yeah.
Yep,
Tennessee
they're here
has
too in
them.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've picked them up on the game cam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to get a game cam,
What's
but I
that?
kind of want it
A game camera
inside,
No.
like
for like, it's an outside camera that.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, but what kind of animal did you catch on your game
oh,
cameras?
bobcat,
Oh.
deer,
the big
coyotes,
hogs.
Okay.
hogs. Yeah.
Wow.
We'll probably have to shoot the hogs. Is there a season for them there?
I
Uh-huh.
think you can shoot wild hogs anytime.
Yeah,
You're allowed to.
probably shoot them
Probably.
before the animals really get going on
Yeah.
that property.
If we can hunt it down. I haven't seen it for a while, so.
I know Aid's friend hunts them, Rob Painless. So if they ever come out that way, maybe, hubby can hook up with him and
Yeah.
do a hunt for him on your land.
I think we want to put in some traps too we don't want to catch deer though. We've thought about trapping some of the coyotes, but we don't want to catch the deer in the trap.
Yeah.
So,
Probably electric. How much electric fence can one run on a property like yours? Because yours is so huge. Would you just do a perimeter
yeah,
around?
it's expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
All right, let's see if we can do this here. Can you see that?
It's coming up. It's ESOL and popular culture. We're learning about English speakers of other languages. Oh, there it says bobcat sounds and pictures down at the bottom. Okay. Yeah. Yep, that was a bobcat. She's right.
Oh my God. It does sound like it, doesn't it?
I've
Yeah.
heard that sound before.
Kind of sounds like a little chubby kid trying to bark.
Holy crap.
They're
Sounds
big.
like a man.
Well, my cats just came running. What the heck? Okay. I'm not sure if that counts.
Yeah.
It just sound like almost.
I think
like
I'd be
Stephen
leaving some
King
puddles
movie.
behind. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Change
We'd
of
have
underwear, pants.
Yes. We
I think
water
I'm
them
gonna
with
step
ants.
down, guys. I'm getting really tired.
Okay, I'm gonna go
taking
down
some-
too.
Right on.
It's been great
Take
to
care,
see
Laura.
you again, Laura.
It was really nice to see everybody, and I'll try to get up more.
Yay.
That's awesome. You're always welcome up here.
Oh, thank you so much.
Answer to prayer.
We love
Yeah.
you, Laura.
Oh,
Love
we
you,
love
Laura.
you too.
All right, bye,
Bye.
guys. I'm gonna head out too.
All right.
See you
See you,
later.
fishes. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I had two of those going right past my garage door in the last house, Barry. Yeah.
Right.
With a
I
rabbit
remember
in his
that.
mouth. Oh my Lord. No.
Here says I'm not going in the woods anymore.
Yeah. Many ways we're lucky with those big cats because they don't want nothing to do with us at all. They get out, they leave. But sometimes they get just that desperate and just that hungry. Oh man.
Hey, my first marriage, my wife took me up to her grandmother's house. She lived right on the probably about 2 miles on the off the border of Ohio and Indiana. So she lived on the Indiana side and up this winding road, the top of this mountain. Oh my God, Kentucky Goblin. I'm not even touching it, dude. And she didn't allow smoking in her house, but she didn't mind if you stepped out on the porch, and it's pitch black out there.
Yeah.
And so I'm standing out there and I'm not even, maybe 4 feet from the house. And Next thing I know, I hear this blood-curdling scream. And I flicked my cigarette out onto the gravel driveway and ran back in the house.
I don't blame you.
And she laughed. She was just laughing her butt off. I said, "What is so funny?" She said, "I guess you finally got to hear one of our bobcats, didn't you?" I was like, "Oh my God, it scared the crap out of me."
I believe it.
She said, "Do you need change underwear?" She starts laughing. I'm like, "Oh my God, it's not funny. It's scary as hell." She goes, "I should have warned you."
Mm-hmm.
He's got this Southern Indiana drawl, it's funny. She would always say, "Didn't you know it? Didn't you know it?" Oh my God. I didn't live that down for weeks. She told everybody about it. But yeah, it wasn't something I expected to hear.
I believe that.
Crap out of me.
Well, you can see how both those rabbits they killed outside of the house we used to live in, how it killed them so fast. It just a little squeal, like wee,
Yeah.
over. Yeah, it just, oh my Lord. And then see him walking by. Oh. And I told you about that second time when I got a flashlight and I looked out of the garage door and looked alongside the house, and these two eyes that weren't kitty eyes, they were eyes like that looking around the corner at me like, "Oh, hello." he that was the one who took it right off the front porch of the house. And he looked around the corner before he came walking past, and like we saw each other and like, "We're cool, dude."
Yeah.
Don't come in the
yeah.
Don't come in the garage. But we're cool. We're cool.
You better settle down, kid. How's the missus? She doing good?
She doing well. She's just washing the dishes right now. Came out there and gave her some love, and attention. I told her I'm still on alive, hon.
Son doing all right?
Yeah, he's doing good. Yep.
Good.
Yeah, we all went out on a little family drive the other weekend. He's getting into photography. He took his cameras with him, and he made a slideshow and he put it on our big screen so we could see it, where he was taking some wildlife photos, and he's got a nice camera, man. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody doing okay in the Philippines?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Everybody's doing well. My brother and sister-in-law both went on a vacation recently to Bohol, where his wife grew up, or part of her life. She grew up in Bohol, and that's another island. And she moved to Davao when she was young because there's work. That's just the way it is there. You have to move to the big cities, And she was one of those folks there that never got to go to school.
Yeah.
Because she had to work in the public market selling stuff her whole life until she married my brother-in-law. And then he was an armed guard back then, and that's how they met. But they're doing good. They're, my brother-in-law's businesses that he has are doing well. They're pretty much self-supportive, and his missus, she's in her Zumba thing, and she posts up pictures every day of 3 different Zumba clubs she's in. She's fit, dude. She's physically fit.
Yeah.
I haven't heard much from the nieces. No, actually, quite nothing from them. That's why I asked the missus if she heard anything from the nurse. Where she's at, where the processing is. It should be pretty soon here. She'll be here in the States somewhere. And her dad is, if she works here, she can get a visa for her mom and dad to come here to the States, which is pretty common. It's like a temporary visa to come here and visit. If you've got a child working here, you can bring your parents for like a 90-day visa. That's one my brother-in-law is looking forward to be able to come to the U.S. and look around a bit. And I told him, hey, man, come up here and you guys can sleep on the floor or whatever. We got a big old air mattress. You guys can camp out here or wherever you want to go. Camp out at Ate's apartment. But I don't know how long that takes to get that visa. I think it takes quite a long time. But we got to get her here first.
Bet she's excited.
Oh, she is probably excited and a little bit scared because it'll really be her first time away from home, and it'll be so far away from home,
Yeah. But being young, she'll adjust pretty quickly.
Yeah, and healthcare is so full of Filipinos, man. They really network really well. She won't be stranded at any time. She'll, that's a good thing about that is they're all used to working over in other countries, so they know what you need, where to find it, all that kind of stuff, and she'll never be left alone completely. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that as far as I know, the agency is going to set her up with an apartment and a car and all that. Chances are pretty good she'll probably bunk up with another bunch of Filipinos. That's how they do it. They share costs, and very social people. They don't like to live alone.
Hello, Miss Southern Belle.
Yeah, doing well here.
Yep. No complaints. Even if I complain, nobody will listen. So.
Them cats do that all night, Barry?
Run around, carry on. Yeah.
Oh, man.
They're babies. I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds like they're tearing the house up.
Mm-hmm. They're still learning and exploring.
Mm-hmm. And they're still too young to really go outside. So.
Okay.
I really can't take that chance because we got red hawks up here on the ridge or the knob over here, and they would just swoop on,
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine they're probably pretty noisy. And you got a headset on, so it's right up in your ear.
Mm-hmm. I can hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. Apologize for that.
That's no problem.
Just being babies.
Mm-hmm.
They woke up just now, so.
Of course, it's nighttime.
Yeah. Hey, Miss Southern Belle, if you'd like to come up, you can. I'm gonna call it here in a little bit, though. Probably about 15 minutes. Probably at the top of the hour. It's almost 2 here. Trying to transfer a picture from my phone. And it's being a little slow because I'm running. Oh, looky here.
Hey,
Hello, lady.
how are you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
All right, getting ready for the Memorial Day. I've been coloring a lot. I've been coloring a lot of pictures of these beautiful Native American women.
Oh, wow.
I'm doing this whole book for Jack. He's like this Native American. I've really been enjoying it. I've had a lot of fun painting and coloring. They're really pretty women. Anyway, that's what I've been doing for Jack. I did a whole book of owls for Isme Angie. I'm just having fun doing a book at a time.
Yeah.
So, just coloring, enjoying life, living the dream. Hope everybody is having a great day today. It's a new day. Happy Memorial.
Pretty much, isn't it? Yeah.
Thank you, men, for serving our country. We appreciate all the veterans out there that served our country, police officers, fire department. Thank you for all that. And women too, and puppy dogs. I think even a monkey. Somebody said there's a monkey out there that served our country, so I don't want to leave him out. So how's it going? How's the radio business going for you?
Haven't really done anything in radio for a long time.
Really?
Just trying to get a garden going this year. Part of the garden challenge.
Just a second. Let me sorry. Just let me check this. Maybe they'll go away.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just have to shut them down and tell them to go away.
Absolutely.
So, we're going to do a garden. That sounds good.
Let me see if I can. I think I got it transferred down. Let's see if I can share it without StreamYard doing something dumb.
Bob 942, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good. Yeah.
You look wonderful. You look like you got a great tan. Been out in the sun.
I've been out working in the yard and the garden. You know.
Nice tan.
We've had about 5 days of sun here in Seattle in a row, which is a miracle.
That sounds great. Your tan looks good, though. I'd be like a burnt lobster, but your tan looks good. You tan really well, then. Yeah.
Well, my grandfather's Native American, so as soon as I get a little sun, I just turn brown. You know.
Well, so you would probably like this book too, The Native American Women.
Oh yeah, I grew up between two tribes here.
Yeah.
Right between two tribes. I grew up with lots of them. You know.
Great book, great coloring book.
Nice. Yeah.
And Jack, he's Native American, and I'm Native American, but everybody's. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine. I said, you know, actually everybody's got a tribe. You know, we're all in a tribe somewhere in our life. So yeah. So you're going to plant a garden?
Well, I pretty much have already. I just.
What about the catnip?
I planted some catnip.
And cat grass. You did any grass for them?
No.
Oh, they love that cat grass. Hello, Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. How are you tonight?
This is. I'm not sure, you know, if they've changed some things on StreamYard, but it's gotten really to be more pain in the butt than anything.
I think YouTube is getting to be boring. You know, it's not as educational. There's nothing really grabbing me anymore. I mean, as far as there was this guy who was in Canada. He's Murdoch Vlogs. He's like, oh, that's awesome. See, you're doing well.
That's just part of it. I mean, that's just the container part of it.
There you go.
That's nice, yeah.
Potatoes and tomato.
Yep.
I love tomatoes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Can't get enough.
Oh, yeah, tomatoes are good.
That's the monster tomato.
The monster tomato?
Yeah, it's supposed to be bigger than a beefsteak, so we'll see.
What about the ugly tomatoes? Have you ever grown those?
I don't know an ugly tomato.
Huh?
I said, I don't know an ugly tomato.
No, really, it's called an ugly tomato, and it's really ugly, but it's so good.
Wow. Welcome back.
What's your plans for tomorrow, everybody? I mean, what are y'all going to have? Anything special or?
Oh,
no. Mrs. has to work, so it won't be too much going on here tomorrow. Not much.
No, you're not going to cook out on the grill or anything? Throw out anything on the grill?
No. She made a whole bunch of food, so I got leftovers. She does that pretty frequently. All I got to do is open the fridge, warm it, and I'm set.
Make sure you give her a big kiss tomorrow morning.
Of course.
For that.
Yeah, she got to work in another city, so. But what they're going to pay her is worth it. So.
Yeah. You know, I was watching this movie. I don't know if you ever watched it. It's called She Said. It's where that guy was raping all those women. He was a big star, but the women that were going off, the reporters, the husbands were so wonderful about us. Wow, those were really good husbands, because they'd leave their babies. Like one had 2 kids, and she'd go to New York and Chicago and all and get the report with us there. But it was really a great show. She said on prime time. You ever seen it?
No.
Oh, it's really interesting.
Well, what the husbands do? Leave the baby? What are you talking about?
No, she was like a reporter for a big newspaper.
Uh-huh.
And she would leave her children with her husband. He was so understanding and everything. I guess he worked at home and everything. But it's amazing how good the men are in these movies.
Normally, they paint the men as to be incompetent, selfish buffoons, which I get very offended about that, because we are not.
No,
we are not.
The men in this movie were very sweet and kind, and they were there for their women. And I thought that was very nice that the man was on the other side and the woman was the worker.
Well, that's kind of how it is in my house. I'm retired, and my wife's still got a couple more years to work till she can retire. But I don't like how the modern movies and all that portray us men. No. Now, if you're a gay man, then you're the hero, or a tranny man, then you're the hero. You understand that woke bullshit? That woke bullshit. I just despise most of the mass media.
I'm gonna have to turn this thing off here.
Very popular tonight.
Not really, but not really. I'm going to say one thing. There are some men out there, really good men that, like my cousins, for instance. He's a good father, good father. And then there's some women who are good mothers, and there's some men that weren't good fathers, and there's, how it is. And there's some women who weren't good mothers. I couldn't believe that. I was like, oh my God.
Lots of that.
Yeah. But it's just a lot of things out there. But I had cleaned a guy's house. His wife worked, and he stayed at home and did art. He was a sculptor, and he'd do these heads. And then one time he did this big bird. And I said, how are you going to get out of here? How are you going to get it out of this room? It was so big, how are you going to get it out without destroying it? He told Mother, he said, I told your mom how I was going to get it out, but I'm going to wait and let you see how I'm going to get it out. Well, he was a big construction worker. He knocked down the wall to get it out. I said,
there's always a way.
Wow.
But he made a lot of money for that one bird. He took the bird to this place in Atlanta. I think he made $25,000, $30,000 for that one bird.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah. Nice. But he worked hard on it, let me tell you. So, well, I'm not going to sleep here long. I'm fixing to go lay down and go to bed and get ready for my bed. Been coloring all day. I'm pretty much seeing nothing but those Native American beauties. I'm going to go put some feathers in my hair and put on some lipstick and pretend I'm one. But you guys have a great Memorial holiday, and thank you for serving. And thank anybody for serving out there. I appreciate you for keeping me free. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Good seeing you.
What are you doing back out of bed, Carol? I thought you were going to go tuck in. Oh, yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk to you a little bit after the live is over. Like we usually do, sit here and bullshit a little bit. Yeah.
But I tell you, I was talking to Kentucky Goblin, on the radio about this, and it was just he's noticed it too. Is the news and stuff gets leaked out, information gets leaked out, and I'm all for the, I can understand someone trying to be the first to get it out there. But when you have like a dozen channels repeating the same thing over and over again.
Oh, Lord.
Like you could tell it any better than the other guy. I mean,
So many fakes out there, dude. They're just, what do they call them? An echo chamber now?
Yeah, I guess.
Blah,
I mean,
blah, blah,
yeah.
blah.
It's like, can you be original? Can you maybe mention that leak and then give us your point of view on it, but try to be educated about it instead of just repeating what someone else said as if you could say it better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm seeing too much of it, and
yeah, I don't listen to the mass media. I do watch some Filipino news. That's how I started learning about the military buildup over there. It was just by accident, and having the wife translate for me, But the national news here, I watch an occasional story right by the house. Seattle, Tacoma. That's it. The national news, I don't want to hear it. If that's all you've got to listen to, no thanks. I don't participate in that. It's all bullshit anyway.
Mm-hmm. You have a good night, Miss Southern Belle. It's always a pleasure to have you on here.
Good night, Bill. What's the latest story that the echo chambers are passing around as breaking news? What's the latest story?
Well, I mean, as my channel, I'm going to smoke a cigarette, so I'm going to turn the cam off.
Yeah.
But, since for some reason it's okay to drink booze online on YouTube, but you can't smoke a freaking cigarette.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's possible that we would have a communication breakdown or blackout, as they're saying. Of course, I said communication breakdown instead of reference to Led Zeppelin.
Okay,
but,
I get it.
But they're not. And what I'm not seeing people put two and two together yet, and it still doesn't come up to 4. But is they're not okay. 50 senators were handed out sat phones because why? Obviously, there's something going to come down the pike that there's not going to be any communications.
Okay.
So sat phones would be there, obviously, if you kept it charged. But what they're not putting those two together. Like, okay, one story is saying, there could be a communications blackout. And another one is saying 50 senators were handed out, they were given sat phones. Why are they not putting those two together? And
I get you.
And then going, why? What's coming down the pike that they're not telling us? See, that's something.
Yeah, I get you. I heard from some channel that they were only giving out the sat phones to the Democrats. I don't know if that's true or not, but who knows, Yeah. We've got a couple of those small walkie-talkies like what you were showing on your camera, the small ones. That's just in case we got to run out of here so that just the family can communicate, because it don't take much to take out a cell phone tower. Right. That's all you got. That's really all you got to do is stand back and hit it a couple of times with an .6 or something, and it's gone.
Well, don't you think it's odd that these random, when I did the air quotes, even though they're out of style, but don't you think it's funny that these attacks on these substations? It's like the testing to see what it would take to take a substation out. Well, shooting at one isn't going to do it.
Yeah.
They might blast let's try to shoot a power pig, which is, a transformer. Let's try to shoot one of those. Okay. The thing is, there's so much steel in there. Your little bullets, the least it's going to do is make the cooling fluid in there leak out. Eventually, that transformer is going to break down, but it's not going to be immediate. If you shoot an insulator on a power line, you might take out the power. You might cause a fire.
You know what?
Shooting a substation. Come on, really?
You know what they did here and during the George Floyd and the Chaz and the Chops? They used chainsaws and they cut down the local power poles that were made out of wood, and it worked. They put us in power failure for 3 days and 3 nights as they started lighting fires all over the state. So we've already been tested here.
Right.
That's why I got those little radios. Because I figure next will be the cell towers along with the power going out. Now we got no communication, no contact outside. So at least I have some of those radios. I can pass them out to the family.
Right. Yeah.
And I got a vest with some stuff in it in a little gym bag so that we can walk out of here. So the next time they light all the green belts on fire, which they've already done, we can walk out of here or just bounce real quick and get out.
Pastor McQuarrie, thank you for being up here in the chat with us, and we appreciate your support. You have a good night over there. I'm not sure I drove the point home, but I mean, that they're going to be limited, right? Just by this antenna. If you got them in this style,
yeah, I like that.
Okay, they're going to be limited only because the antenna should be out to here. Should be out to here for that wavelength, but it's been shortened into a coil.
Yeah.
To make them more compact. But you shouldn't be that far apart, if your family's ready.
Right.
Be that far apart.
Yeah. That way, the way I looked at it was, if somebody's got to get up on the high ground and be eyes up,
Yeah, that's going to work. That will work.
Yeah.
Because these work on FM, which is line of sight. You get up on a hill and everybody else is down below, that's going to work, and they will be able to converse back and forth. Just to make a point, this is an old, what is this? A Radio Shack. It's actually an audio box, but it's been rebranded. Now, it's had its rubber piece lost a long time ago. It snapped off. It was just hard plastic.
Yeah.
You can kind of see that right there is basically, it's a coil to make that antenna shorter. Otherwise, it's going to be like this, way out here. So what they've done is they've electrically shortened the antenna. It's still the same wavelengths, but they've shortened it so that, it's more compact.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that's the limiting factor. I could put 50 watts through this if it didn't melt down first. Yeah. But I put 50 watts through that, and I'm still not going to get, the range that a full length antenna will have. But if you stay within, if you know the limitation of your radios, and it's, I can't stress this enough. And Kat, could you get off my phone? It is open and you're stepping on everything. I love you, but so if you test it, and it's best to do this, go out and test these radios. Like if you can get your son to help you or the missus, go out and test your radio and see what their limitation is. Um,
Good idea. That'll be a good.
Make an idea. Like if you know your area well on a map. Your place is one story or two?
Two.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I'm sorry, but and I saw the video. You were putting stuff on, the bird. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't click, but where you were saying standing on a hill and everyone's below you absolutely works, and so does the second floor of your home.
Okay.
Let's say your son drives, right?
Of course.
Okay. So he could go out somewhere, and I wouldn't necessarily have him talk from inside the car because that's not going to be very effective. Okay. The middle of the vehicle will interact with UHF, and have them get out and say, I'm at point B or whatever, and then you can go from there and you can say, okay, this is working out so many miles out that what I would do, quarter mile.
Yeah. Okay.
Because then you get a pretty good idea what it's going to be like a mile away. It's probably going to break up. It's not the radio's fault. It's just physics.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, because of the shorter antenna, it's not the radio's fault. And I see this so much. People say, well, those radios are crap. No, they're not crap. It's physics. You can't bend physics. But, it's best to get out there and just test your equipment out and say, okay, it works out to a mile or it works out to a quarter mile. We know what our limitations are. If we get separated, we know we can still contact each other within that radius. Anything
that's a good idea.
Past that, anything past that,
it would be better than no communication at all.
Yeah, exactly. And if if it gets down to it and you're out there and God forbid you get separated, keep it in your mind that, hey, I need to get to a higher spot and I'll be able to make contact with my family again.
Okay.
Because as I said, line of sight. Yeah. So if you have a pretty general idea of where they were last, even if you don't, you can get up a higher spot and probably make contact with them again, even though they're still at the lower level, sidewalk level.
Yeah.
Just it's good for anybody, and not just radio, but your get out bag or whatever, your bug out bag. Know your gear.
Yeah.
I'm sure they told you that in the Air Force. Know your equipment.
I already took that stuff out on a dark, rainy night to make sure that I waxed a vest full of stuff. Extra medication for Mrs. and I, and a few other things, and the bag are all waterproofed. And I took that out on a dark, rainy night one night, and the waterproofing works perfectly. Yeah. Yep. That's one thing I tested. Yeah, I'll have to get on the radios and see how far they go.
I could have saved you the embarrassment or the aggravation and told you that wouldn't help. Tying a brick to your antenna. Yeah. But guys, it's 2 a.m. here, Eastern time, and it's been a great 3 hours? Yeah, it's been 3 hours. Good live, a lot of good information, a lot of fun, and we got to see Laura. Man, it's getting better every time we have a live. It gets better. We have young ladies like Verna show up, and Laura. Who's next? Cindy Crawford.
Let me address a comment here real quick.
Okay,
how
go
could
ahead.
Admitting that I have native blood get me killed?
How?
Yeah, how does that work?
Oh, back then?
Oh, maybe
Like
a
as
long
in-
time ago. I don't know. Maybe 100 years ago, 150 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's yeah. I just wanted to address that.
Well, the chat just jumped on me.
Okay.
Yeah, Sidney Crawford. Heck yeah. She still turns heads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know, Gear. Still early. I know, bud. You have a good one there, Gear. It's always a pleasure to have you up here. But yeah, folks, we might do a few more not lives, but we might mention more about communications during another live. But I'm going to try to put out some videos that have to do with radio and communications because that's just kind of my sweet spot.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, down in the comment sections or in the next live, can always ask questions about it, about shortwave or CB radio, FRS, GMRS, whatever. And we'll try to answer those questions. But I appreciate everybody coming in, and I appreciate all the surprises. That was awesome. So, everybody have a good night, good morning, great Memorial Day.
All right. Good night, everybody.
We'll talk at y'all later. Bye bye.